from the words of Gita and applying it in our practical lives. Thank you very much for attending this. I will be quoting from the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we will be looking at this solution, the road beyond the modes. That's the title. Okay. I'm going to rap a little bit because this beautiful I'll try with the music and see if it works out. So, are we manipulated by the three modes? That's a good question to ask. Am I being manipulated? In the 14th chapter of Gita, three modes, 101, the first dozen verses of the 14th chapter, Krishna is speaking and says, my dear Arjuna, let's commune. Tune into these directions that sages are enthused to use for cruising to perfection. Perfection means progression to a nature more like mine, a nature that negates a reincarnation for all time. So this chapter is all about going beyond the modes, the road beyond the modes. And let's see what Krishna says and understand this. I'm going to try to wrap this. Each species needs a spirit soul to bring it up to speed, and matter's dead and stuck in bed till I implant the seed. This is Krishna speaking. Dead matter cleaves to qualities of goodness, duck, and passion, three modes that each provoke the soul to act in different fashions. My faultless friend, the mode of goodness dresses up as pure. The soul in goodness feels at peace, enlightened and secure. The mode of passion crashes in when you crank up desire. It makes the soul feel full of holes and cravings to acquire. The mode of darkness makes your heart collapse into a heap of laziness and craziness and ignorance and sleep. Okay, that is super relevant. The mode of goodness dresses up as pure, and the soul in goodness, it feels at peace. You know, when we're doing certain things, even if it's forgiving somebody for a great crime, when we are in the mode of goodness, we actually feel at peace, even if we didn't make a mistake. And sometimes we say, I'm sorry, and we know we had no fault in it, but we feel at peace. Some other times it's like the mode of goodness is all about internally how we make peace with ourselves. It's so little about other people, the triggers that other people do. Recently, I had this experience where I really want to share this with you all, because my prayer for a couple of years now, but especially intensified for the last year, has been this particular prayer. My dear Krishna, please remove my difficulties so that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of your power, your love, and your way of life. And this has been my prayer so much amidst such kind of confusing situations. And today I had a moment of experiencing that strength coming from that internal sense of anchor to identity of being Krishna's, and externally I may have been in passion, etc. But internally there was always like the intention was, okay, you know what? I want to learn my lessons and I want to become strong. That was my intention. Earlier, I remember 1 year ago, or like 6 months ago even, I was acting as if in the mode of goodness. I was trying to say the right things and act in very goodness actions were. But my motivation was so much in the mode of passion. And as Krishna says here, the mode of passion crashes in when you crank up desire. It makes the soul feel full of holes and cravings to acquire. I used to feel like that, like it crashes, and then, it crashes in when you crank up desire. Internally, my motivation was so much about passion. And then I felt really full of holes and cravings, although externally I was behaving like in the mode of goodness. So I'm realizing more and more that the intention, which more the intention is way more important than the actions again. And then today I felt like my actions were a little bit in the mode of passion, but internally I was like grounded, and I was like, okay, I need to look for validation within, and I need to make peace with the fact that people around me are not very useful and not very supportive. And I was like, people that I rely the most are sometimes the one that hurt us. And my husband gave an example about I made something. I did something which was not very right, and then he was giving an example and said, I understand when you make a big mistake, because it's like asking you for 1 crore of rupee, and when you say no, I understand it. But then I ask you for a small thing and you don't give me, you don't want to offer, like come in time, then it's like asking for 50 rupees and you're not giving me. And I was trying to analyze that particular episode of my life in the modes, in Sattva Gun, Raja Gun, Tamo Gun. And I was thinking, yeah, it's the same thing. The motivation behind his forgiveness is so much about, well, I understand you cannot give me 1 crore. I understand. But I cannot understand when you cannot give me a 50 rupee. And then he can act like really aggressive when I come late. And then I was realizing that for him, the intention behind that is sattva. He's just asking for 50 rupees, but the action can be like super rajasic, and he can be very aggressive. And then I can feel very disturbed. So I was thinking I can react to that in the mode of darkness, make my heart collapse into a heap, and then feel laziness and craziness and ignorance and sleep. Oh my God. And do I need to tell more about that? I definitely, when I don't want to deal with difficult emotional situations in my life, that's exactly what I do. The mode of darkness makes your heart collapse into a heap of laziness and craziness and ignorance and sleep. That's exactly what happens. I was speaking with one of my mentors, and she was telling me, you're in the workaholic phase, Sri Radhe. Be careful, because workaholic means you're escaping your emotions. You're escaping your pain. Don't do that. Give time to process those pains as well. So we might be going through very difficult emotions like laziness and craziness, and crazy things may be happening in our life, and we may be experiencing depression externally, but internally it doesn't have to be the case. Internally, we can actually be very anchored with our identity and say, regardless of me being in depression, I still want my experiences to help others. I mean, that was kind of my mood. I was not in a great place a year ago emotionally. And I said, okay, I don't have to be in a perfect emotional state to do emotional support groups. I'm going to start it anyway. And then when I started it, my prayer was always like, please remove me from difficulties so that victory over them may inspire others to love you more, Krishna. And the point about preaching, I realized, is also that it's beyond modes. Do not put myself in the center. The point is not that I should shine. The point about preaching is that I should make others, I should make Krishna shine so others can love Krishna. That's the point of preaching, even if it means that I have to be vulnerable, even if it means that I have to show my laziness and craziness, even if it means that I'm open about my heart, which is full of holes and cravings that I want to acquire from this world, and validation that I want to acquire, even if it means that I have to open up, as long as my goal and my intention is to glorify Krishna. And yeah, today I'm very grateful to say that more than a year ago, I feel more strength. And that strength really came from being there for others, regardless of how down I was feeling emotionally. And that's the way. So it's okay to be in the mode of darkness and letting my heart collapse into a heap and feeling this laziness. It's okay, as long as my intention is to want to go towards light. These modes impose a need for deeds of wisdom, fear, and greed. All three compete and stomp their feet and try to take the lead. When goodness wins, you're satisfied. When passion wins, you crave. And when the mode of darkness wins, you suffer like a slave. Oh my God. This is something I meditate upon. Like when goodness wins, you're satisfied. Are you satisfied, Shirade? No, means goodness did not win. Okay, try again. When passion wins, you crave. So yeah, so I guess I'm in the mode of passion because I'm not satisfied. There's the craving there. And when the mode of darkness wins, you suffer like a slave. So when I don't get out of depression and I actually feel worse, I realize like, okay, ignorance has taken over. All right. Then there is life, death, and action. This is verses 14 to 20. Chapter 14, verses 14 to 20. The modes still goad you even when your body drops and dies. To die in goodness means a birth among the good and wise. To die in passion means a birth in which your lust increases. To die in darkness means to take a birth in beastly species. To act in goodness brings about a sense of feeling jolly. To act in passion brings distress, in darkness melancholy. From goodness comes the truth, from passion comes tremendous greed. From darkness comes illusion, sleep, and stupid deeds. If you're in goodness, go to heaven. Darkness, go to hell. If you're in passion, stay right there. This world will suit you well. It's really cool. Okay, so let's analyze that there. Should I put this up on the screen for everybody to read? So like, just give me a thumbs up if you want to put, if you want me to put that up on the screen.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Okay, let me share the screen. I like you to like read that and we can discuss this part. From darkness comes illusion, sleep, and stupid deeds. That's very interesting. And if you're in passion, stay right there. This world will suit you well. That's interesting. Anybody has anything to share about this before we go to the next part?
I love the way it's so poetic, yet it's just the truth. So well written.
Okay, then I'll go to the next. Maybe I'll send the next also by picture so you can actually see what I'm reading. This one is when Arjuna asks and Krishna replies about conquering the modes. That's a good one. So I'm going to put that up on the screen. At the end, he says, this is all Krishna. This is all Krishna saying. And he's saying at the end, when you can see the modes inducing everything you do, you'll beat all three and clearly see my seat above them too. And when you rise above the modes, their pain and their distress, you'll end reincarnation's mess and relish happiness. So that's the conclusion he gives in that verses 19-20. When we realize, no, that all our emotions, all our feelings, all these situations, all the relationships is also, everything is induced. The modes inducing everything we do. And then we'll be able to know if we don't have the awareness in what modes and under what mode am I influenced by and what am I doing, we cannot rise above it. And only if we are aware of it, then we can rise above that pain and distress. And like I was saying last Gita Connection, we were discussing how we need to use ignorance. I mean, actually, it was not Gita Connection, it was a Friday meeting. I was speaking about how ignorance can be used in places to subdue negativity, to subdue overthinking. When there is excessive passion, we can use ignorance. We can become lazy so that we don't criticize. We can become lazy so that we don't use our senses in the wrong way. We can become lazy so we don't ruin our brain and our head overthinking. So similarly, but we need to be aware. We need to be aware of it. And like, I don't know if it was Tara Nirada or Vilas Manjar were speaking about how, even in order to do some austerity, we require some sattva guna. And in fact, Hiranyakashipu had plenty of sattva guna. I mean, being he was Jaya Vijaya, he came from the spiritual world, so he got plenty of sattva guna there. So the sattva guna was pushing him. Externally, there was sattva. Externally, he stood in tapasya, he was doing all austerities. Externally, super sattva, right? But his intention was super duper tamasic. He wanted to destroy everyone. He wanted to just create such a chaos. So although his actions were sattva guna, it was useless. He was great in philosophy. He knew whole Vedas, he knew everything. And he was really good at everything, basically all Vedic things. He was super sattvic in that sense externally. But then his intentions were what was tamasic, and therefore he used all his skills that he gained, all his powers that he gained in sattva, he used it to destroy. So that's it's, how do you call it? It's tricky. It's tricky to determine if our actions, even if our actions are in the mode of sattva, it's tricky to say that we're in sattva. We are not. So let's do this. This part is conquering the modes. Last verses. Arjuna asks and Krishna answers. Arjuna, how does a seeker tweak his life to leave the modes behind? What kind of mind could I design to make me so refined? And Krishna says, when your head's straight, you'll never hate to see the modes attached. And when the modes abandon you, you'll never want them back. Unruffled as the modes kerfuffles, shuffles, and unfold, you'll scrutinize with equal eyes a pebble, mud, or gold. You'll be unfazed if you are praised or blamed for some great sin. The modes will part, and you can share your heart with foe or friend. This is the point, sukha dukkhe same kritva labho jaya jayo. Whether we are in happiness or in distress, if we don't hate that situation or love that situation too much, tolerating happiness, I had a hard time understanding what means tolerating happiness. But yes, if we can tolerate happiness, it's easier to tolerate distress. But if we get too elated during happiness, it's very difficult to be tolerant in difficulties. If I enjoy fame too much, everybody adores me, they admire me, I'm loved. If I feel too high about it, the minute one person criticizes, I'll be like completely shattered into pieces and fall down in my emotions. So he says, by serving me devotedly in every situation, you're on the road to unload all the modes contamination. That's it. That's the key. That's the solution. That's the remedy. That's the medicine. By serving Krishna devotedly in every situation, my dear Vaishnavis. It's not that we have to wait for me to feel good to chant or take shelter. It's not that I have to not be angry to reach out to Krishna. Sometimes we avoid Krishna, like we avoid because we're not like kids, when they're being naughty and they want to hide from the parents and go away. But we don't need to do that. We just need to kind of hand over those emotions to Krishna. Hand over fear, hand over guilt, hand over the shame, hand over all sorts of worries. And then he can clean us up from the modes contamination. Unload. We have to unload all our modes. Even, Krishna cares. It's like a mother. Imagine child has trouble. You don't say, hey, come to me only when you're in good mood. Don't come to me when you're sad. No, a parent says, please come to me when you're sad too. Come to me always, anytime. Happiness, distress, I'm here for you. So Krishna wants us to go, even with our petty requests, petty fears. He wants us to go and share our heart with him. And while on that path, you'll simply laugh at good or bad reactions, for I supply the basis of an endless satisfaction. And this is really true. I must say that Krishna's grace, I am experiencing some of that, even though I'm in the middle of the storm. Like I feel like, emotionally, I'm kind of in the middle of some stormy situation. I'm going through like Rahu, Mahadasha, etc. But I can really be that example of somebody. Doesn't matter your situation, doesn't matter you're in difficult situation, doesn't matter you're making mistakes, doesn't matter, as long as we hand over that to Krishna and say, Krishna, I don't know what I'm doing, but please be with me. You give me the strength to serve others, and give me the strength to face my troubles in a way that it can inspire others. And then really Krishna does give that endless satisfaction, or for me, it was that strength. I felt like strength today. Like I felt that strength. Krishna is with me. And I did look back and say, wow, I was not like that. But it took time. I was afraid. 6 months ago, I didn't know I will be able to feel it. This Gita Gyan, Gita teachings are so, so true. Krishna promises, and he really keeps that promise, Krishna does see you crying. He does notice your tears. He does notice. And he is going to wipe those tears and give you the sunshine, the brightness, the rainbow. It's going to come. Just don't be impatient thinking, I sowed the seed, but no harvest is coming. It will come. You just have to be a little patient and keep on nurturing that bhakti lata bij, that seed in our heart, that little faith that we have. Study Bhagavatam every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, associate with the devotees, and then that spark can again shine through the modes. And again, like it doesn't matter if I'm depressed, I go to a devotee and say, Krishna, you know what, my dear friend, I'm feeling depressed today. I mean, I did an outreach call today and it felt good because I was a little bit in the mode of tamas. And the outreach call was like helping me to get out of tamas and come to the mode of Shuddha Sattva type, Okay, I'm going to use this tamas in my favor. Like that. So we can use our circumstances, our weak moments. That's what Gita is propounding here. So that's my presentation. And if any of you have any comments, questions, or any of you want to wrap, you're welcome.
That's so beautiful. What I was thinking is like my realization after hearing the presentation is like how I myself, when I cannot understand what is my intention, even though I'm performing an action, perhaps it looks like it's in goodness, but what is my intention? I'm not given like such a close, but in the beginning, I say, what do you say? This is for you, Krishna, but then as we are doing it, where the intention goes, right? Am I tracking it like that? So I'm realizing when I cannot do it for myself, how can I judge others when they are doing those actions and thinking, okay, this is tamasic, this is rajasic, this is in sattva. So I'm feeling like I should be more non-judgmental towards others when they're performing any activities. So sometimes we just pass out, in the mind, just the thought comes, oh, look at this action, like that, right? So I'm feeling like the intention can only be understood by the psychic movements, right? Can be only understood by Krishna and the heart of that particular soul. So it's better to just see that, yes, the modes are in action, the modes are happening, but internally, what's the intention? Only the Lord knows. This is like my learning for today.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My obeisances to all of you. I just joined and I heard the last part of it. But I just wanted to say that it is very true what Sri Radha is saying, that Krishna does listen and he does reciprocate with us. because it happens to me as well. And the other day I was on a Zoom session by Achyuta Gopi Devidasi, and she was exactly saying the same thing, that Krishna does listen to us and he does reciprocate. And it's very true, because whatever we are going through for any type of services we are doing in Krishna consciousness, we do get disturbed. And that is something that I am going through right now. But then again, joining the Zoom session, it helps, because it's true that we have to kind of think about ourselves and think about, why am I feeling this way? And take it from there. And it's true to think about it, that the other person, he's also part and parcel of Lord Krishna, and Krishna resides in the heart of every living being. So so these kind of points and thinking really helps with dealing with day-to-day situations and emotional mental stability. It helps. Anyways, that's all I wanted to share. I just got in the last part of what you guys are talking about, so I hope I'm on the right train of thought along with you guys all today.
Absolutely, you are on the right. Spot on. Thank you.
When we talk about the modes and these planets, right? The way I understand is like, even those the particular the constellations that we are born in, and all those other things, they kind of influence us in our life, right? Until we come to the platform of pure devotion. Till that time, their influence will always be there. Is that the right understanding? Or once a person begins bhakti and is chanting, it's impossible for the astrological or like the planets to have their influence, because once even when taking initiation, we say that we come under the family of Achyuta Gotra, right? So just wanted to see your perspective on it, Mataji.
Well, once we reach the stage of Nishta, like when our devotion is fixed, then it's not actually the modes which is influencing us anymore. Although for the external eye, it may look like that, but it's actually Krishna directly, So that's my understanding.
Yes, that's because at Nishta, all the modes, they don't have to influence as much, right? There's so much more steadiness. That's the reason.
Yeah. I mean, even though, yeah, it's about, again, it's just a state of consciousness. What changes is the state of consciousness. We may be doing the same sadhana, but how we feel about it is different. We may be getting up at the same time, doing the same arti, setting the same plates, cleaning the same way, decorating the altar in the same way. But sometimes when we're doing it, we are fluctuating in our modes, right? Like today, I made a mistake because our class went on. The devotee who was waiting, I didn't open the door, so she went back. So I for Mangalarti, for the program, I had to do it again, and then I was like, not so enthusiastic to do the arti on my own. When others are there, I'm setting the plate, much more carefully, cautiously, beautifully. And when I'm alone, I'm a little bit like, oh, it's okay. Even if I don't have a incense holder, it's okay. I'll just stick it in the mud, it's like that. So, I was just thinking, when we reach that stage where I'm feeling Krishna's presence deeply, I won't be escaping those little details, but I'm able to even enjoy even those little details. Does it make sense? I'm not only waiting for other people to validate me. I'm not waiting for other people to to look at my whatever preparation, devotion, but in the devotion itself there is joy. It's not that I'm going to find joy after it. It is in it. That's what advanced stage means. You're not influenced by mode, basically means that. In the modes, there is expectation. This is very important point. Okay, let's go over this point. In the modes, what happens is in tamoguna, we are like down and depressed, and in rajoguna, we are hankering. We are like looking forward. I mean, in tamoguna, we are down, depressed, but we are lamenting. I should have done the arti set plate should have been kept better, and this should have happened, that should have happened. We are kind of constantly looking at lamenting, looking behind and seeing how things should be different. And Rajas is like, next time, I'm gonna do this better, and I'm gonna find more people to come, and I'll post this on the social media so I can get validation or something. So there's an expectation there in Rajas. And then in Sattva, it's more like, okay, this is my duty and I need to do it. And I need to do it consistently and try to please Krishna. But in Shuddha Sattva, which is beyond the modes, which is today's topic, we are not only dancing according to the tone of we are not dancing according to the tone of the three modes, but we are in a position to feel the emotion towards Krishna, regardless of we messed up and the fire fell off and burned Tulsi Maharani's cloth. I mean, it didn't happen, I'm just saying, or something, and then we feel like, ouch, I was such a lousy pujari today, and this happened. So that may be the action, but in the mood, you're like still feeling connection and like, I don't know. I don't know what a person in Nishta or Bhava will think when something like that happens, but there is no lamentation. There is no getting succumbed to the feeling of tamas, even though in action maybe something gets destroyed or something. And then in Rajas, something similar, like there is no hankering. I should do better artik. No, like, wow, it was so sweet. Today I forgot the incense holder, but still, it was like I put it in this place where it was like whatever. I'm speculating here. I'm not obviously on Nishta, so I don't know exactly the emotional state of mind. But what I'm trying to say is externals do not affect me when I am fixed in my bhava, in my mood, in my determination. Even if things are imperfect, I'm going to see Krishna's hand. Even if things can be better, I'm still going to say if Krishna wants. And even if things were very, very nice, I'm grateful to Krishna. So Krishna becomes the center there, and not, I should do better. I should not have done this. I can do better. I should show off that I'm doing better. The intention, what is the intention? So in when we are advancing, we are mature, and we are in a fixed state, we're not affected. We're not affected by what happens. We're so focused on our love for the Lord that, okay, Krishna didn't allow me to have some days I get late for the Aarti because it's home, no? Like Govindam, I'm supposed to start Govindam at 6:30 in the morning, and then sometime it gets late. And one day I started Govindam at 6:45 and I was feeling that embarrassment, oh my God. So what's the intention behind that embarrassment? I was asking myself, I was trying to work on my modes. So my intention was I shouldn't look bad, mode of passion. I want to look good, mode of passion. I don't want them to think that I'm lousy and lazy, right? Mode of passion. And then of course a little bit of sattva was there, that okay, devotees are coming, I must respect their time. They shouldn't make them wait or something. I mean, those devotees didn't really care being a little late, etc. But my intention is very important. I must look at it closely. That's my point. I don't know. Somebody else can add more. I'm a little bit in Tamaguna today. I went out in the sun to government offices and banks and this and that. I'm exhausted. So I'm a little bit in tamas. So maybe somebody a little bit can unpack this, what I'm trying to say, if anybody likes.
Actually, I can relate to this because I have felt the same way. Uh, Getting up or something happens and being late, waking up my DTs and then feeling bad going in front of them, same thing. And then making a promise, okay, tomorrow, or I'm not gonna do this. I need to get out of this mode. I need to get out of this feeling. I need to do something better. So yeah, I've been through that. So I can totally relate to this.
Mm. Yeah. So it's the intention, right? That's what is important.
So you're actually like planning. What do you say? You want to do something better, so you're planning and you want to take that responsibility to do it nicely. I don't even I don't want to even use those words like responsibility and all that. It's just like, you feel like in your heart that you want to do it nicely for the Lord. You want to plan, and you're doing it. So in any action, any such actions of like planning, and you want to do it for Krishna, when that is coming, that time also there is this element of passion, right? Because every time you want to do something that without passion you cannot do. Is that the right understanding? Or it can actually be done in sattva? In sattva also, that that arousal of like, I want to do something for Krishna is coming. I would like to understand that.
What's your exact question there?
Like, say I want to do something really nice for Krishna, okay? So is that coming from passion or is it coming from sattva? Because I was
Why do
thinking,
you want to do something nice for Krishna?
because I want to do it for him.
Why? What's your intention behind that?
It's just that I want to do it for him. That's it,
Yeah, but usually
It
there's
just
a
ends
subtle,
there.
there's a subtle
Yeah, it just ends
motivation.
there. It just ends there. That's it. I don't even want
You
like
want to please
everybody else
him,
to know.
right? You want to please him.
Yeah, I don't even want others to even know about what I'm doing for him like that. It's not even about others. It's just between me and him, I guess. It's just like I want to do it for him.
Okay. Okay.
So that's it. So does that also what do you call, be called as in being in the mode of passion, or is it like sattva?
No, of
That's
course
what
not.
I'm
It's sattva.
So actions, when we are actually
Actions
taking
might
some...
look, actions might look rajasic, obviously, but your intention is sattvic, and then the result is, of course, Shuddha sattva, because you're really doing for Krishna.
Okay. I was thinking every time we are taking some initiative to do something for the Lord, any initiative, there is some element of passion for, that's what I kept thinking. Any initiative, there must be some kind of passion to do it, for that particular action. So that is where my doubt is. So is that right? Or is it like, no, for initiative also, it can be only Shuddha, what do you call, Sattva only. In Sattva Gun also, you can take initiative. That's where I want to get the clarification. You're getting my point, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, some rajas is necessary, obviously. We need all the modes. If we don't have rajas, we won't rush to the Mangalarti and, do the things. If we don't have tamas, we won't sleep and we won't be refreshed. We need the modes. It's not like one mode is better than the other in terms of, we need a balance of all of it. When I need to sleep, I need tamas. I can't be in sattva guna. Otherwise, I won't sleep. I'll be like a cow, just standing there all night.
Okay. So that initiative, when I want to, let inspiration comes, right? So at that moment, it is a little bit of passion. That's how that inspiration is coming. But then how I'm executing, how I'm planning, if I'm wanting to do just for the Lord, then that is sattva, right? Sattvic,
Yeah. I mean, if your intention is really for doing it for the Lord, it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't want to encourage this, but during the time of Prabhupada, devotees would do crazy things, steal flowers, do this and that. But the idea back then was, if your intention is like right, you can do all of that. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just quoting that the intention is so much important. Am I making sense?
Yes, Mataji. I'm also thinking that Krishna is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, right? He has everything, right? So ultimately, what does he want? He wants our heart. Every time we hear that, now that is making like a, I'm able to understand that statement much better with what the way you're explaining. Because our heart means our intention, right? Where is our heart? Where is our intention? That is what he wants. So that's becoming more clearer. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, thank you. Exactly. He wants that butter that is churned in our heart, and he wants to steal that butter.
I like that analogy about the butter you just mentioned. It's
Yeah.
nice.
There's a bhajan actually. Ksherabdi Shayana Hariye Ninage Bekaiteno Gokulada Benne Sakagaliಲ್ಲವೇ ಹಾಲ್ಮೊಸರ ಕಡಲೆ ನಾಟಕ ಏತಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನಗೆ Krishna Ksherabdi Shayana. Because Krishna, no, he's the owner of the ocean of milk and ocean of butter and ocean of yogurt. He owns the oceans. But then yet he comes down to Gokula to go and steal the butter from different devotees' house, Gopika's houses, and troubling them. And so the acharyas say that that butter is basically the butter that is churned, the emotions that is churned in our heart as a result of doing devotional service. That butter that is churned in our heart, he comes to steal that. That's what he wants. And so says, oh, you had to become a little thief and come to Gokula to steal this little butter from houses of the gopis. And like that. It's not like Krishna doesn't have enough loving gopis there, but he still wants to come and steal our butter, the butter in our heart that is churned in our heart. And the butter churning in our heart can only happen through pain. I was discussing today, also had some clients, and we were discussing how pain leads us to Krishna. When one client was having a really bad husband who was very abusive, that led her to depend so much on Krishna, and her life changed. And she was saying how if she had a nice husband, she would not come to Krishna. She would not surrender to Krishna. And another person also, because of pain only, we go to astrology, we go to all this kind of philosophy. So it's a good thing. Pain is a good thing. It reminds us that the way we are living is not good and we need to change it. So we go and find better ways. Yeah.
That's very nice. Beautiful. So this bhajan, what language was this in you sang, Mataji?
It's Devanagari, it's Kannada. Taruni Radha understands this language.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So beautiful. I really like Shirabdi Shayana means the one who's lying in the ocean of milk, right? Imagine that one who's lying in the ocean of milk becomes a little baby and goes and steals butter and milk from people's homes, right? It's such a cute thought.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then it says, ಸಾಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲವೇ ಹಾಲ್ ಮೊಸರ ಕಡಲೆ ನಾಟಕ ಏತಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನಗೋ Krishna. See, why it was not enough for you, the ocean of butter. What's that? Like it was not enough for you what you have, the butter you have there in Vaikuntha, your all the butter of, what's that, ocean of butter and ocean of yogurt. It was not enough for you. Is that why you came to Gokula to steal handful of butter? Thanks. It's like a sarcastic song, to Krishna, to say, come on, reveal yourself. Come on, tell us your real intention, don't do all this drama, Anything else?
It's like how Prabhupada used to say, Krishna doesn't need your offerings, but you are offerings so that you can develop your love, your relationship with Krishna. Okay?
Yeah. And what does it mean? It means while we are doing the offering, we are going through our own issues, etc., etc., and we're going there offering to Krishna with that mood. Krishna, please purify the food that I'm going to eat. Please have this, etc. and we're churning, right? There's emotional churning happening, and he wants that churning in the heart. I really feel this part that Krishna really churns our heart, and that the pain, the butter comes out because of that pain being churned in the right way. Then it becomes butter. Like I was telling my mentor that when I do these sanghas, in my house, online, when I'm doing Bhagavatam or whatever, I was telling her that my intention is purely to basically save myself and be of service. And meaning to save myself by being of service. That's the word. Like, and so I was saying my intention is just that. It's no other intention, but I want to save myself by being of service. And that's the intention, which can be said in the mode of I don't know what it is. I don't know what mode it is exactly, but the action seems like sattva, right? Because studying Bhagavatam, doing programs at home, but my intention feels more basic. My intention is not so much I want to help people, I want to preach, I want to save anybody. My intention is like I want to save myself, and I know that the way to save myself is to be of service. So I don't know if it's ignorance. I don't know. It's like I want to save myself. I don't know what mode it is. Kind of passion, maybe. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit in the mode of passion.
No, it's very nice today. You're being very expressive, and whatever you're saying, it's just really relating to us so much. To me, it's so much because it makes sense.
Yeah, we don't need to wait around, until we become pure to be of service or help. And the only way to get purified is through service. I was telling my husband recently, I'm not qualified to give classes because I'm very fallen. And he said, how will you become purified if you don't give classes? And I was like, I don't know.
That's very nice.
He said, that's the way. You have to do it because that's your only way to get purified of your sins and your imperfections and your weaknesses. Yeah.
See, that's so wonderful about Krishna consciousness. This whole process, the whole process, it's practical. Like it makes so much sense. Anything you're doing, do service, have association with the devotees, listen to the lectures, everything, the whole program itself is just so wonderful, and you learn a lot. And that's what it's been attracting a lot of people, like the people that I've distributed books. When they find out, they're like, wow, I need to know more. One of my ex-co-worker approached me, he said, you talk about this Krishna consciousness things a lot, and always talking about it. I want to know, give me that book. I want to know. And then when I gave him the book, he was almost crying that my soul feels so empty. I feel so empty. And so it's wonderful.
Yeah, actually today, Sarva Mangala, you came late, but exactly that was what I touched upon, about that soul feeling that emptiness. I'll read that line again. Let me read that line again for you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, here. I mean, he's speaking about, this is Krishna, okay? He's saying how things work in Tamas and Rajas. He says to Arjuna, my faultless friend, the mode of goodness dresses up as pure. The soul in goodness feels at peace, enlightened and secure. The mode of passion crashes in when you crank up desire. It makes the soul feel full of holes and cravings to acquire. The mode of darkness makes your heart collapse into a heap of laziness and craziness and ignorance and sleep. Like that, he speaks about that. So this point here, the mode of passion crashes in when you crank up desire. It makes the soul feel full of holes and cravings to acquire. That's the material world. You got a promotion, you have to aim for the next one. You got a child, you got married, you got to have a child, and you have a child, you need another child, or you need to raise a child. So the desire gets cranked up, and then you feel empty, and then you feel like I have to keep filling in for those cravings, and it's never enough, never enough, never enough. And then we feel depressed that we could not reach those passionate potentials and passionate goals, and then we fall into darkness that makes our heart collapse into a heap of laziness and craziness and ignorance and sleep. So it's like, chain of
It's like
sattva.
rolling down the hill.
Yeah. It's like chewing the same chew, right?
Yeah.
Going up and down, up and down. So the only solution is handing it over to Krishna. Like today I was thinking, thank you, Krishna, for the strength today. I don't know if I'll have the strength tomorrow, but thank you for the strength today. And that's all I've got. All I've got is now. That's all I've got. So I can only be in the now and thank Krishna, and be lazy about the worries and fears and everything. Use ignorance to be lazy for the bad things.
In the beginning, when I was to go out for like the distribution or like, it was basically because I was so inspired by what Srila Prabhupada said. If you want to please me, go out and do book distribution.
Yeah.
Just preach like that. That was the, just because I wanted to please him. Yeah, really in my heart, I wanted to please Prabhupada. That's why I was to go and do it. But over the years, what I've really understood, Mataji, is, oh my God, just by speaking or like, what do you say, expressing or the philosophy to the other person and the newcomers, right? That whole philosophy is becoming more clear in my heart. When I'm preaching to them, it's not like I'm preaching to them, I'm preaching to myself. Those words, I feel this is the secret. That's why all our Maharajas, they all are saying the same thing, I feel. Preach. If you want to please me, preach. Just, what service I can do for you? Please preach. That's the only thing. They themselves do it. They want us also to do it. It's only because of this. Of course, when we have that purity, right, it touches the other person's heart. But when we don't have that purity yet, right, whatever we are doing, still it's purifying our own heart. That's the potency of preaching. It's like so beautiful. Slowly I'm realizing my heart only is getting cleaned. And I'm thinking I'm helping them. More than helping them, my heart is getting cleaned. Look how beautiful this process is. So that's how that's been my realization.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I just want to thank all of you for your presence and share realizations. And just like, I feel like that love, that love that I look for in, like Sandhya was telling me something very nice today. She was saying, not nice, actually, it was very not nice, but it's the truth. How sometimes we walk into a hardware store looking for bread. So trying to look for some acceptance and comfort in this world from people who are not really qualified is like walking into a hardware store and looking for bread, I will be disappointed. But here I feel like I find that bread, so thank you. Thank you for giving me my daily bread.
That's I guess it's like a brunch for all of us, right?
Yeah. Bhagavatam, no? Nityam Bhagavata Sevya is my daily bread. I really love all of you for this. When we come together and discuss like this, we really grow close. And thank you. Thank you, Trisandhya. Thank you, everybody. I'm also leaving. And Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.